Hi, this is Stephanie with Simply Pilates, and I wanted to introduce the idea of some stretching throughout the day to you. Have you heard that sitting is the new smoking? Your chair can actually be considered what we used to consider a cigarette to our body. It brings about a whole plethora of problems for our body. So I'm going to introduce the idea to you of the 30 by 30 rule. If you haven't heard it, it suggests that for every 30 minutes of sitting, you take a break just for 30 seconds and get moving. So there are about 14 stretches here that I'm going to give to you that counteracts the effects of excessive sitting. So let me know what you think. If you like it, go ahead and click the like button, and hope you subscribe to my channel, Simply Pilates Fitness, and let's get moving. Okay, so let's say I've been sitting for the last 30 minutes. I set my timer on my watch to go off at 30 minutes, so I want to get up and stretch for a little bit. So this round of stretches, I'm going to first work on some mobility moves and some range of motion. So my suggestion here is to complete about 5 to 10 reps of each. So let's start with some neck rotations. We're going to go up and down in our rotations as we're standing. I want to keep the abdominals lifted and engaged. I want to keep a nice little soft bend in the knees. After sitting down and then standing up, sometimes it gets the blood rushing. So we want to make sure that we don't fall over. We're going to stop here, and then we're going to rotate our neck from side to side. Again, this is 5 to 10 reps, whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to stop here. We're going to go into some shoulder shrugging. So shoulders lift up with tension and they press down, feeling the length through your back. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the back. Shoulder shrugging up and then pressing the arms down, reaching fingertips down to the ground, shrugging up, feeling that tension, and then lengthening down, pulling those back muscles down. We're going to do 2 more. 1 more. Here we go. So now we're just going to do a little bit of trunk movement forward and back again, protecting the back while I move away from the midline, keeping the stomach tightened up. And then we're going to go from side to side. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into each by rotating all the way around, pushing like you're scooping out a bowl, trying to get every last little bit of that brownie batter or cookie dough out of the bowl. And now we're going to reverse our scrape. So hips forward into that hip, going back and to the side, and the little side stretches here from side to side. Inhaling and exhaling, getting some nice breath work in here. Last little move here I'm going to show you is a gentle back bend. So I'm going to move to the side so you can see. I'm going to put my hands on my low back for support, and I'm going to lift up through my spine, trying to lean back. Coming forward, release, take an inhale, and exhale, leaning back into back bend, and coming back up. So again, 5 to 10 reps of each, you decide. And we're going to move on next to if we have some muscle stiffness and tightness, what we can do to relieve that. So we're going to go back to a sitting position. And we're just going to bring our knee up to our chest. So driving, alternating knees. And again, suggestion here is maybe 5 reps of each. So right knee, left knee counts as 1. So going from side to side, feeling good, taking care of the body. Pulling up and down. So these are going to be also some low back release moves. So this is the last one. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and open my knees slightly. Hands are going to come down to the floor. I'm going to reach my hands down to the floor, feeling the release in the back, using my stomach muscles, abdominals engaged to lift me back up, and I go back down. I can feel that in my low back, this forward movement with intention, but abdominal engagement, protecting everything as I go through these rotations forward and And let's do just one more, making sure that you're breathing heavy in through the nose, out through the mouth, release. Okay, next we're gonna do a figure 4 stretch. Figure 4 is you're gonna cross one leg on top of the other. Whichever leg is on top and crossed, I want you to flex this foot. Keeping that foot flexed is keeping all these little finite muscles engaged, keeping you from pulling something. So you're just sitting up tall, feeling this stretch. It goes all the way up into your piriformis. You're gonna feel this deep in your glute, a little bit of a hip flexor release as well. Just hold this for a couple seconds longer. And we're gonna release, and we're gonna go into the other side. Pulling that leg up, flexing that foot, and pushing down. Try not to push down on your knee, choosing instead on your thigh bone, so you're not putting pressure down on a place where your joint meets up. So trying to sit up tall, pressing through. This one I'm gonna do it one more time, but I'm gonna go a little bit deeper in this stretch. So I'm gonna go into my figure 4. I'm gonna lean back in my chair and I'm gonna try to thread the needle. So I'm gonna try to grab underneath my thigh and I'm gonna pull my knee to my chest. My left knee is coming to my chest. Flexing those feet, keeping them actively engaged and still breathing while you're in the stretch. Using your abdominals, slowly release that foot back down to the ground and we switch out again. So I've crossed my left, I'm leaning back in my chair and I'm lifting up that leg. This is just a deeper stretch. So if you want to stick to keeping your feet down on the ground, that's fine. This is just a little bit more of a challenge move if you want to go deeper into the stretch, if you've got the mobility already. One last stretch we're going to do is you can either put your hands on the desk in front of you, or if you want to turn your chair around, it's a low back and hamstring stretch. So I'm going to come up to stand. I'm just going to use the back of my chair for this. I'm going to put my hands on my chair or desk in front of me. I'm going to walk back so that I've got lots of distance between my chair and my legs. My legs are going to be straight. My back is going to be flat. And I'm trying to push down with my chest down into the floor, feeling some stretch through the armpits, through the chest. But I also have lots of release here in the low back. And this is a great hamstring stretch. The entire back of my leg is getting a release here. And if you want to come up, take a second, go back again into the stretch, you can. And we're releasing the back part of the body. The back is releasing, back of the legs. Okay, so that's the moves you're going to be repeating. Then we can go into some leg stretching. So leg stretching, I want to get into the front of my legs. So starting with my quad. The quad is these big muscles here on the front part of your leg. So I'm going to scooch over to the side of my chair. Your chair is a little light. Be careful getting to the side so you don't tip over. I'm going to grab the outside leg. So again, I'm scooched over to one side of the chair. I'm going to take the knee that's furthest out to the edge and I'm going to try to point it down to the mat. I'm leaving this front leg bent to stabilize me. So I've grabbed onto that back leg and I'm trying to point my knee down to the floor, opening up my hip flexor and opening up my quad. So inevitably when you sit all day long, all these muscles that are normally in this condensed, shrunken position, they get tight and short. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to coax them out and lengthen them a little bit right now in just this modified, very moderate stretch. So I'm going to come on out of that and I'm going to go into my other leg. So again, scooching onto the other side, hanging off the edge of the chair. So this whole leg is on the chair. I grab my foot. I now point my leg down. So I don't want your leg pointed out. I want your knee to actually be pushed down towards the mat while you grab onto that foot. Holding on here, taking a couple breaths. The next stretch is also going to be for the quad. So again, we're going to get into a little bit deeper stretch, except my foot is now going to be on my chair behind me. So I'm going to step in front of my chair. My foot is going to go behind and I'm trying to push my hip forward. So leaving this foot behind on the chair, knee is still trying to point down to the ground. And as my foot is up, I find my tension as I lift up, hinge up, knee goes down, feeling this opening through the front line of the body. One side, and then I just go into the other. So I find the back of my chair, and then I work on my position. Finding my stretch, knee points down, hips shift forward, and again, abdominals are tight. This standing leg, you can have a little bit of a bend in it just to make sure they don't fall over, you don't get a little wiggly. Staying here, we breathe, in and out. And then these neck stretches, go ahead and step out of that. These neck stretches are going to be to decrease the muscle loss that happens throughout the day, just with repetitive sitting. So we're gonna start with some heel raises. So the suggestion here is that you do this anytime from 1 to 4 times a day and doing either 10 to 30 reps. So I'm not gonna go through a full set of them. I just wanna introduce you to these. If you are challenged with your balance, hold on to this. So we have heel raises where you're basically just going up onto your toes and lowering back down. So lifting and lowering. What I want you to be cautious of, I don't want you to just pump, because when you pump, you're just shortening those muscles again. We're trying to engage those muscles, reminding them how to tighten for strength and release as you come back down. So maybe checking in on your breathing to pace yourself. So an inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower, inhale, and exhale. If you wanted more of a challenge, you can go into one leg. So you would just cross one leg behind the other, up and down. The slower you are, the more the balance is going to be challenged. And you can switch to the other side. A little bit more of a challenge, letting go, and just see how you do with the balance while you're not holding on to anything. Okay, next we move on to squats. So proper squatting. Again, if you feel the need, you can leave a chair in front of you and you will be squatting behind it. The purpose of the chair is for you to get used to the form where your bottom is shifting back. So a lot of times when people squat, they come down and their knees shift forward. Well, right, just doing that, showing you I felt pain in my knees. We don't want to load the knees and get a bunch of gravitational pull of our upper body all loading into our knees. So what we want to do is we want to stand just so that we can touch our chair. We're going to shift back. So we're going to fold here. We're going to fold here at our hips and imagine that we're sitting in a chair behind us, and then we come back to standing. So the chair is going to help us to balance because I want you to stay postured up. I want your chest to stay up and open, your shoulders to stay down, and as you shift back, I want you to load into your heels. It's almost as if you can wiggle your toes throughout this entire move because your heels are the driving force into the squat, and you press through those heels to get back to standing. After this, we're going to do some push-ups. We're going to use the wall for this. So wall push-ups, I'm going to do it just right over here. You're going to be about 2 or 3 feet away from the wall, and I want your chest to be, your hands to be just a little bit below your chest. So I'm going to move this. Hands are going to go on the wall. They're about shoulder width distance apart. They're below your chest level, and you're just going to bend towards the wall and press away. Towards the wall, press away. Trying to keep the body in a nice straight line. Again, trying to take this nice and slow. The faster you go through this, the more jam you're going to feel in your elbows as you're doing the push-ups. Imagining those chest muscles working as you go down and then pushing away. Maybe coming down and holding it. Take a couple breaths or count to 5. Pushing away, coming back, feeling the abdominals engage as you have to stabilize yourself down there. We push away. We're going to do one more. And we push away. So there's our wall push-ups. So last thing that we can work on is single leg standing. Single leg standing is just a balance move. Trying to hold for maybe 15, 20 seconds on each side. If you wanted, you can go in a little bit into like a figure 4. In your yogi, you want to go into like an eagle where you're crossing legs. You can get as fancy as you want. You can always leave your foot just right above the ground so that if you are a little more insecure about your balance, all you have to do is tap your toe down, reestablish your balance, and then we lift up. And then of course, we need to go on to the other side. So holding on to the single leg balance. Reminder, anytime you engage those abdominals and you go deeper into your core, it's gonna help you to center there in the middle, and it's gonna help you to stabilize in these balance moves. So all these are gonna have much more positive impact on tight muscles. It's gonna increase your mobility and overall your well-being in general. So remember, sitting's the new smoking. Don't do it, just say no. 30 by 30 rule, get up. Every 30 seconds, move around. Or if you want just a full breakdown of a nice good stretch, go ahead and do this circuit of 14 moves and enjoy. Stay healthy, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, so there you have it. There's about 14 moves that you can practice, working on your mobility, working on your range of motion, working on lessening your stiffness. Just stay healthy, keep that body moving. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and hope you subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next time. Bye.